Welcome back to another casted game of Age of Empires 4, and we've got 3DB once again playing as the English here on Hill and Dale, and his opponent today is going to be LaSh. He's another streamer. If you haven't checked him out, German content creator. He's got a great channel over on Twitch, so go see him. B has also been streaming a lot on Twitch as well, so check both of these great guys out. And it's going to be an Abbasid Dynasty versus English matchup. You know Abbasid's one of my OG main civs, so I'm going to be seeing what LaSh has in store for B, the classic English pick. Always a good all-around civilization. And if you did not see my last upload on YouTube, you need to go check it out. B versus Beastie Cutie. I just randomly was casting a game, and he made freaking siege towers. It was crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen siege towers in a professional game until yesterday. So go check and watch that previous upload out. And while you're looking at all my YouTube things, you should subscribe to the channel. I am about to hit our next 1,000 milestone, so make sure you hit that button, subscribe to the channel, and it greatly helps me out. And I always love seeing you guys down in our comment sections after the game. I was sharing a story yesterday about my very first time playing Age of Empires 2 and what really got me hooked into playing the Age of Empires series in the first place, and RTSs and PC games in general. And I'd love to hear your guys' story. So tell me about that first time you played an RTS, whether it was when Age of Empires 4 came out, AoE 2, whatever it was. I always like hearing about how people get into the game. And I was having fun showing my nephew AoE 4 on my gaming laptop last week while I was out of town. So I was kind of thinking back on that. But anyways, let's get to the game at hand. On Hill and Dale, you've got in-base deer spawns. So for the English, for B, he comes right out here, he builds a mill on that, and he gets survival techniques. So he has a very fast food source here right away, and you see him killing these deer nice and close. So this is a good way to start on this map, is to go for the deer for several of the civilizations. Now the Abbasid, they've got bonuses for berries, so LaSh has opted to go for those. He could have also gone to the deer, but he's gone for the berries here in this case. And another thing you can do is you can bring your scout if you really want to micro like crazy, and you can push the deer all the way into your town center or mill or what have you. So kind of some different options available here on Hill and Dale. And we see that LaSh is going to be aging up with the Culture Wing. Now, most of the times when you see Culture Wing out of the Abbasid Dynasty, that means he's going to be going for a fast castle. Why? Well, the Culture Wing has this preservation of knowledge. It makes all your tech going to be cheaper, and that also includes the age up cost by 20%. Which didn't used to be the case. So really Abbasid, they've got a lot of tools in their tool belt these days to choose from, whether it's a military wing opening, economic wing, or going for this culture, or going crazy and going for economic, or for the trade wing. So culture wing, probably going to see a fast castle behind this, maybe some man-at-arms or knights. We'll see if he follows up with that. Meanwhile, over on B's side, he's going to be aging up with the Abbey of the Kings, no longer the Abbey of the Memes. A landmark that you're seeing a lot more commonly these days. Of course, you can train that king out of this. And I've seen this landmark used a lot with fast castles for English as well. You harass with your king and maybe a few horsemen, and then you're trying to age up behind it. So we'll see how B goes for this. He is a very aggressive style player in the first place, so he might just use this to stay in the second age as he scouts out this culture wing. But we'll see what he ends up choosing. By the way, if you didn't know it, when you're looking at the Abbasid Dynasty House of Wisdom, you can't click it and see that he's gone for the Culture Wing. You have to know what the landmark structures look like. The Culture Wing is the tall tower here. So that's how you can always tell they're going for the Culture Wing. The Economic Wing is kind of short and round. And then there's the Military Wing is right by the swords here on the outside. But always a good thing to know. Okay, so we got LaSh in the Feudal Age. Immediately getting that preservation of knowledge. Has he left villagers on gold? He's got 4 villagers on gold, so he's working towards that. So his, we'll see that once he gets this. I'll show you the values there for the age up. Meanwhile, let's see the macro for B. He has 3 villagers on gold. Did he get his wheelbarrow? He's getting it right now. He knows we're watching. He knows we're going to be looking for that. So that king going to be coming out here soon. And we'll see if he drops a stable or anything like that. A lot of villagers going on gold. So This kind of leads me to believe that perhaps B is going for a fast castle as well. That's a lot of villagers to be on gold. Of course, he's going to need 600 gold and 1,200 food. And I believe that's what we're going to see out of B. Doesn't even have the king in queue yet. Meanwhile, over here on LaSh, there are the kings in queue right now. LaSh has built a stable and a barrack. So he's going to be looking, and he built it behind his base. So perhaps it won't get scouted right away. Maybe you see this and then guys going straight for the next stage. It also gives him the option when he gets to the next stage, get those lancers, those camels, or go for the gulam. Here, the man-at-arms. So now that he has that tech, I wanted to show you 960 food and 480 gold to age up. That's the discount that the Culture Wing is providing for him with the Preservation of Knowledge technology. So, you know, looking at his macro, he's actually training a few units. He's even picking up the fresh food stuff. So one strategy he could be doing here is, well, he used it to get a cheaper wheelbarrow. He used it to get a cheaper fresh foodstuffs. If he's a blacksmith, those will be cheaper as well. So while, you know, I was kind of projecting that he might go straight for the fast castle, that's what people often think when they see this. In fact, here, he might have used that as a little bit of a bluff as he's kind of put his military production behind, and now he's been cooking out some of these upgrades at a cheaper cost. Look at these. These are much discounted. So another interesting way to play with the Culture Wing here in the Second Age. We see B actually already walling up. And this really makes me think like he's turtling up and expects maybe there's going to be a man-arm or night flood coming in. He's making some horsemen himself. Now, maybe that's just to be defensive, but yeah, I think LaSh is in a strong position. He's going to be able to get spearmen. He's already getting the phalanx upgrade. I think he has 2 spearmen on the map, already getting the phalanx upgrade. Abbasid economy, of course, always good. They've got those cheap villagers. And he can also get any of those ecotechs he wants. We see he's gotten several of the food ones. He's got wheelbarrow. Still has 3 on gold there. And now he's adding another barracks and another stable. So LaSh is definitely dedicating his strategy here to the feudal age. Where is his scout? You always want to scout the English and see what they're up to. So his scout isn't nearby, so he doesn't know necessarily, is B aging up? Is he coming for a push with a bunch of longbow? Well, not gonna be longbows because you probably saw that landmark, but is he gonna come drop a tower or something? Typically you want to see that with your scout. I think he might have lost his scout. I think that's why. And that does indeed appear to be the case. He just trained a new scout. So he's running a little blind right now. So understandably, he can't just like hold off on units and maybe go castle because he doesn't know what's coming from B. He sees these units. As I mentioned, you're seeing that, you might think, okay, it's gonna be harassment and some kind of like age up behind that. And B still has a lot of villagers on gold. He's been using that gold to get a lot of his techs. So we see he's got his berry gathering tech. He's got, or he's getting it right now, horticulture right there. He got, of course, got the wheelbarrow. Earlier we saw, and still just training a few horsemen. So gonna be trying to raid, but the spearmen should be able to defend against this. Largely should be fine. The king, of course, offering some healing to those nearby horsemen. But for right now, LaSh is doing just fine. He didn't go for a second town center, which is so popular a lot of times with the Abbasid Dynasty. And for right now, LaSh has a little bit of a bank of food and gold. We see him adding more villagers to gold. This might be the time where he says, okay, there's not a big rush coming in. Maybe he's thinking his opponent's going to the castle. He's holding for now. He's going to save his resources and go to the next stage now. And that looks to be what he's trying to do. It's going to be a nice little timing there. Kind of like a semi-fast castle here, right? He built a few units, defended, which is good. You don't want to just blindly follow some kind of like Culture Wing fast castle strategy every time. Or like this, he had made no units here, right? These knights and horsemen, or the king and horsemen could have really dealt a lot of damage. So he's going to hold this. Of course, he's got the phalanx, so these spearmen are extremely effective in these fights. B trying to get some value, but it's going to be really hard, and you can see he's just not getting anything right now. So this is good for LaSh as he is saving up for the next age. Once again, that's going to cost 960 food and 480 gold. So he's going to need, he's got plenty of sheep there. He's just about finished his berries, and he still has all these deer available. So he's really in a good spot. Not to mention he's walled on the sides. He's got berries back here, deer there. He secured a lot of food. We'll probably see B go into some kind of farm transition. He loves to use all the natural resources, so I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, he comes out for them. But typically, English will go to farming because they've got better farming as you go through the ages. And B, oh my gosh, I was just reading a Reddit post of people talking about like the white tower drop is such a strong strategy with the English. And here we have B putting a white tower right in front of LaSh's base. But the only thing I'll say is he's got enough space. A lot of times it's more of an issue if like the tower gets dropped like here or something, or like really right in the middle of some of your stuff, because it could basically shoot everything and you just build rams out of it. But by the way, LaSh has a little bit of a standing army here. So he comes out and is going to be attacking these villagers. Let's see if he gets any. Oh my gosh, this is a huge thing. You just got to scout it. That's a big thing. People are saying like, how do you counter this? You got to scout it. You got to see it's coming up and you've got to react with some units. And that's exactly what we see here. 7 villagers being picked off right now. B has made a huge gamble. And without being able to protect that, he loses 10 villagers to get that keep up. And sure, he has it now, but he's take a huge hit to his economy. You can see that up here. And not to mention, LaSh is on his way up to the next stage anyways. And his infantry can immediately start training rams, or he could go for whatever, right? So we'll see what happens here. I think B is going to probably try to make some rams and kind of go for an all-in, especially now that he's lost 10 villagers. I mean, this is going to be a hard spot. Not to mention you're up against the Abbasid. They got cheaper villagers. They're up plenty of vills. Okay, wow, I did not really expect... And this is usually when you see Abbey of the Kings, you see a lot of aggression. You do often see an aggressive white tower dropped. So I'm not surprised to see this, and this should be a learning moment for you if you're playing against English and you're seeing that opening with the Abbey of the Kings. Be scouting and be wary that this could happen. And LaSh, I think, knew it was on his radar of things that might happen. He was able to see it right on time. He was able to react, pick off 10 bills. Very nice. Now we do have this trebuchet going to cause a problem, right? He's got a line of sight there on his town center, and then only one more landmark, the House of Wisdom for the Abbasid. But of course, the infantry can just immediately start training Springolds, ideally here. And he can just make Spearmen and Springs and maybe hold this as B's economy is going to be struggling a little bit. He's really dedicating to siege. I think we're going to see another trebuchet. Yep, that's what's going on here. So let's see if we see a Springald get dropped down soon. He's upgrading his Spearmen right away. Plenty of production in the back. He's got his villagers in the back. And this would be a bigger issue, you know, if this tower was like tucked between these two wood lines or something, right? Denying some wood. This tower is just a little bit outside of being able to do a whole lot of value. It is protecting his siege. So, man, LaSh is in a tough spot, though. He's got siege barreling down on him. He's going to need to get something to take those out, whether it's a dive in there with some horsemen or man-arms, or it's a Springald. I think a Springald would be the more logical choice. He is getting some ranged armor, so maybe he's thinking about going up here for a little push. But I think a B is just going to keep training this trebuchets. We actually see one Spearman, then he's going to go for a trebuchet. Okay, so will LaSh be able to hold? I would think if he's able to hold off this fight, looking at the economy and stuff, it would put him in an extremely strong position. He's got berries to the northwest. He's got deer. He's got stone. Should be in a nice spot. But we've got 3 trebuchets right now, and LaSh still hasn't made a Springald. Okay, we got our very first one coming out. And if I was in B's shoe, I would also be thinking like, okay, there's a Springald probably coming. And you see, he's thinking the same thing as me. I'm gonna make a Springald now because there's probably a spring or 2 lurking on the horizon. So I bet we'll see B train 2 or maybe even 3 Springolds next. Let's see the line of sight he has there. So he hasn't. He's getting a scout. He's trying to see where are the Springolds that are going to try to snipe me. LaSh, of course, having to dedicate some villagers to repair. Now you got to think about like, okay, well, B lost 10 vills, but LaSh has had to dedicate, you know what, 6 or so vills to just repairing. So that's costing him resources right now. And we do see the Springald fight coming out. We've got a shot from LaSh, and B's got the retreat. He can repair that with his villagers. Of course, if he can get the outpost up, or he's going to get the network of the castle's bonus there for his units, trying to get some more line of sight as well. So, both players taking a shot, but keeping their Springolds alive largely keeps the trebuchet alive there as well. That Townsend are hanging on. 14 villagers repairing it right now. He made a fourth trebuchet. I thought he would go for 2 Springolds, but he did go for 4 trebuchets. So this is really just a dirty siege battle here. So this is the siege of LaSh going on right now. Look at this. B really bringing all the siege, but now LaSh has made enough man-at-arms. He's going to be looking to take out that gate now. Can the white tower hold? The Springald rolls up to try to defend, takes a shot. He takes out LaSh's Springald. His Springald stays alive, but now it's the army count. He has all these trebuchets, but does he have enough army to deal with this? Because those camel riders are going to be hard counters for any of these horsemen. We see trebuchets in trouble right now. The tower, of course, laying down plenty of fire, but is it fast enough? He's got some man-arms soaking up some of the damage. We see several trebuchets going down right now. Oh my gosh. LaSh just massed up units, only made one Springald. He invests most of his resources into making some man-arms, spearmen, and these camel riders. So we see right now, B has lost all of his siege. Look at the destruction value right now. Numbers really shifting. And now that LaSh has taken this out, I mean, it could be smooth sailing for him. He did go up, by the way, with the military wing when he went up to this age. He did research boot camp, so his infantry has additional health. And there we go. He takes all that out. He's going to be taking out the villagers. And those man-arms, they can sit underneath that tower for a while. But now look, total of 16 killed villagers. How's B going to bounce back from this? LaSh, with the supreme Abbasid Dynasty turtle, takes down an English white tower drop. Man, really impressive stuff. It looks like B's not going to be able to get it done here today. Congrats to LaSh on a great battle. Well fought. And I hope you guys enjoyed this casted game of Age of Empires 4. I'm going to be uploading plenty more to the channel, and I hope we have some new civilization announcements on the horizon, and you know I'll be following any of that news coming out of Gamescom. So thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe to the channel. Say hello down in the comment. Tell me your story about the first time you got into Age of Empires, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.